Shabalala! James! Oh, what a goal! Montiel al arco!
Welcome to Touchline Talks. No tactics, no filters, just soccer and some hooligans.
All right, welcome back to Touchline Talks for some more chaos, culture, and soccer with us, Harvey, Kaylon, Jay, Lucas, and myself, Luis, also known as the 90th Minute Hooligans. Thank you for joining us today as we continue this road to the World Cup 2026, which starts June 11th. Obviously, this summer 2026. For all of you listening or watching at home, we appreciate your continued support. This, again, is something new for all of us here, but we really want to help you all navigate through the World Cup coming to North America this summer, which will be the largest sporting event ever recorded worldwide. You can be one of three people that arrives to the World Cup this summer, and you could be the person World Cup, but you don't really take advantage of knowing more. You can be person number two who, you can be the person who just doesn't care at all, and you miss out on one of the biggest sporting moments in history. Or you can be person number three. You can be the person who prepares to have the time of your life and maximizes a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And we're here to help you be that third person. We're here to help you understand the beautiful game and to maximize the World Cup here in North America. These first few episodes are really just covering the lead up to the World Cup, the history, the insights as to the significance behind it and how the tournament works. It is a tournament at the end of the day with the best countries in the world participating, the biggest spotlight these players will ever step into in their lives. It's going to be huge, not just for the players in the tournament, but for the residents and the natives for those countries as well. It is estimated that North America will receive anywhere from 6 to 7 million visitors. 6 to 7 million visitors this summer for the World Cup. And it's actually projected to have over 6 billion people watching worldwide. So it's kind of crazy. And did we do 6, 7? Is that what we're doing here? 6, but and even 1.5 billion people projected to watch just the final alone. And just to put that into perspective for you guys, Super Bowl 59 that was played this time last year drew in about 137 million viewers. The World Cup is undoubtedly the biggest sporting event in the world. And now for just the second time, the U.S. will get to feel that. We want you all to be a part of it and to not miss out on such a huge event and opportunity. So, fellas, are we ready for this episode 3?
For sure.
Yes.
Let's
for
go.
Sure.
Of course.
Awesome. So look, guys, last week we talked about the final draw, of course, how it works, the team selected, the groups these teams were placed in, and we'll make sure we'll link that to this video as well so people can access it. Today, we're going to dive into how a team actually advances and eventually gets the opportunity to play for the trophy and to be in that final. We're going to go through the step-by-step process of moving from the group stages to the round of 32, to the round of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and then again, the finals. We want you guys to watch these games with intention and to understand what a team has to do to make it in. So you're not just watching a game thinking it's just going to be any game. Every game is like watching a Super Bowl. Each game is going to average anywhere from 150 million to 200 million viewers a game, which is crazy. Again, not even that many people watched the Super Bowl last year. Every single game is going to be a Super Bowl. And in the group stages, guys, there's 104 matches that are going to be played. So before we even get to the knockout rounds, there's going to be 104 Super Bowls. Like, how do we feel about that, guys?
It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah. 100 or super. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of eyes on this tournament.
And more games than ever, right? Especially with more teams being in it. Do we feel that we're gonna, being that there's so many games happening, do we feel like we're gonna miss anything out of it, or is it gonna bring more excitement to it with it being more games? Because sometimes when you play more games and there's more stuff going on, there's less viewership. You know what I mean? Because it kind of gets drowned out, things get watered out. Do we feel like this is gonna happen, or do we feel that because there are more countries involved in it, people are going to be viewing even more.
No, I
I
think
mean,
more countries, more eyes, right? Again, countries that never even it's their first time being in this tournament. Like people tuning in. That's the whole. I mean, it's a World Cup, you know. I just think it's going to be more eyes, more excitement. So I think
Yeah.
it benefits the tournament.
If you imagine that it's bringing the light onto this side of the world where football don't really get watched that much. So now we're opening that new side of the globe to the billions that we had before. Now we're about to add another billion to it. You know what I mean? So, and then not only that, in a country where it's gonna be growing, it's a great opportunity for everybody on both sides.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll probably be trying to sit down in front of the TV and watch as many games as I can. But
For sure.
I think
Yeah,
so.
people.
Before, I dive too deep into it, it helps us out, guys. Any of you guys listening at home or watching, sending comments to us on the videos that you see, it really helps us out because we want to be able to understand how we can do things better, how we can incorporate more into these and there was one comment that we got on a video that talked about, when we talked about the World Cup, kind of the world stops or these countries stop, right? We talked about Brazil, we talked about any other country, people just stop. One thing that kind of scares me about the United States is because we're such a big working country and people are so focused on work, which is great. It's why we are the economy that we are and we have a lot of opportunity here. But I feel like people, I don't know, there's going to be games going on and people are going to go about their days like there's nothing going on. Do we feel like that's going to happen? Or, I mean, how do we feel about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely gonna happen. You know, just thinking about my own personal experience working full time right now, like it's impossible to catch all the games, especially with having to take off like PTO and calling out and just the amount of time that we're allowed and whatnot. So it's more than likely, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jay, how about you? I mean, I know for us, there's it's a little different because we own companies, but I think at the same time, there is a sense of we have a duty to keep our companies running and things going and money flowing. You know what I mean? And in other countries, again, like when I was in Brazil, like things stop. Like people don't care. They're like, I'm okay. I'm gonna lose $10,000 in business today, but I'm gonna watch Brazil win, and that's more important. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel about
I
it?
Jay's
think
just gonna delegate. He's gonna tell people to
Oh
do
yeah, I
stuff
mean,
for
most of
him,
my
Yeah,
and he's
Jay just
probably
gonna
gonna
delegate.
he's
Yeah,
just
money
gonna
gonna keep
delegate and
growing.
watch the games.
Yo, but
Yeah, dude. I mean,
check
in my
this.
business, we've already established our systems and people into place, right? And like I even told my team, hey, you guys want to watch the game too? It's good, but it's just to sustain. It runs on its own. And I delegate a lot of things too. I subcontract a lot of things out. So, I personally will be either at the games or watching it myself.
Nice.
What were you saying, Kaylon?
Yo, so even past all that, I'm break off on a branch here a little bit. What about, obviously I can only speak because I'm Jamaican. We don't really get to see him go too much World Cup. So yo, we piggyback off of some teams. You feel me? You got some Jamaicans that love England. You got some Jamaicans that love Brazil. Yo, it stops for them too. You know what I'm saying? Because especially like growing up, like even as a baller myself, Pele was my guy growing up. You feel me? So just anything Brazil related, it shocked me too. I got excited for that too. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, Jamaica not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not on that arena or whatever. But for the countries that are not there, I think it's just as exciting and it stops for them too, depending on where
What
they
about
compete and
Mexico,
stuff.
dog? You don't love Mexico?
No,
You don't get excited when Mexico wins?
no, sir.
Bro, you live in the U.S. You're not even going to support the U.S.
Yeah, what about US, brother?
The U.S. give you opportunity.
I support the US dollar.
But but that actually strikes good conversation because with a lot of people they just watch soccer for the World Cup because it's like, hey, it happens every 4 years, but they don't realize a lot of these players get followed through their club, and for all you viewers at home, some people get mixed up. They think, the World Cup, and they don't understand that people are playing for their countries, and there's a difference between playing for your country versus playing for your club. And just to put into perspective, right, a lot of these club teams are going to have people from all different countries on that one club team, whether it be Barcelona or Real Madrid or Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, you hear all these teams, or Atletico Mineiro, or you have all these teams that are comprised of a bunch of people from all over the world, but then they split off when it comes to the World Cup. So they're not playing, these players that they play with, they're not playing with the same teammates all the time. It's not, this is, they're building this chemistry through little games and little tournaments across these couple years. And so sometimes people might be, let's say they're a huge Real Madrid fan, and they don't necessarily follow a country, but because they love, let's see, Vinicius Jr., they're going to follow Brazil, right? They're going to be like, man, I like that player, I'm going to follow them, right? Or somebody is like, hey, I'm a huge fan of Messi. I just know Messi because he's here in Miami now. Whatever team Messi plays for, I'm going to support, which would be Argentina, right? So there's a lot of reasons why people follow, and I think that's why this is going to be so huge, and why so many people are going to view it, because it's more than just a country. People are following people are following players, just like you were saying, right, Kalen? Because even before I was, look, guys, even though I played soccer in college and all that kind of stuff, I really didn't watch it much. I mean, I would sit down, and my dad, I remember as a kid, my dad would say, hey, come watch the games with us. And I remember when he introduced me to Ronaldinho, and he introduced me when Messi had his first game, or like these different players. And a lot of my playing came from like Carlos Tevez, who played for Argentina and played for West Ham, and then Man City, or Man United. And I viewed it a little bit, but I didn't really start watching soccer, like start watching it, until like after college.
Yo,
Like, even
I'm
in
not even
college,
gonna lie. I ain't start watching soccer team till when Harvey and us right here. You understand what I'm saying? To be honest,
yeah,
when I got to college and I started meeting people, and obviously we come to college, we're all good. So I'm learning different people and how they got to where we are at. And I realized, shit, I don't watch as much soccer as these guys do. I don't know these names that they're calling.
same way.
I'm
No
like,
way.
who?
I had no idea.
Hey, and I'm sure Harvey can attest to this 100%.
I
Yeah.
think
For me, it was kind of different. I come from a Mexican family, Mexican American. So every Sunday we'd go play and then watch the, La Liga,
yeah,
watch games. So it was embedded in us, right? It was a
yeah.
tradition. Like there was no other anything else on Sunday for us. It was soccer all day.
Yeah. I mean, that's Liga MX. That's the thing. My dad always had me sitting down watching, if my mom is a big America fan, and my whole side of my mom's America. So my dad and I we were kind of against. So we tag teamed, and we said, hey, we're going to support Toluca. And that's kind of how we started watching that kind of stuff together. And then when I went to Chile as a young, I don't know, I think I was maybe like 10, 11 years old. All my uncles there supported Colo Colo. So I started supporting Colo Colo. So there's reasons why we followed the teams that we did, but it was never something like, because I think, let me be honest, I think all of us at some point in time, we thought we were good enough to make it. So when we watched the game, we would think, man, I don't really want to watch something that I can do.
Them niggas
Like I can do.
Hey, every time I watch them dudes, I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna be there one day. I'm busting his ass, boy. That's how I used to view that shit, man. This is how it is.
I mean, I felt that way but now that I'm older, right? Now that my knees are retired, and I can't do as much. Now when I watch a game, I appreciate it more, because I'm like, dang, at 30, I mean, there's people playing at 36, 37, 38 years old. I'm over here, I'm like 33. I'm like, man, I can't move the way these guys are moving. I appreciate it a lot more now than I did back then, when we're like 19, 20, 21. We think that, we can't get hurt. We feel like, we can't die. We can't, like, nothing's going to happen to us.
And then we go to Newberry.
And then you faced Kalon,
And
who just
then-
comes in full slide tackle,
no.
over your knees and ankles, bro. I'm like, dude, we're on the same team.
And then we see
Just wanted
Lucas.
to take you out. Dude, God, man.
Hey, Lucas gliding down the side. Hey.
But no, that's so funny you say that, because now that I watch soccer more, I start watching players and I start to think of our teammates. Everything I watch, every time I see Sergio Busquets, I think about Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta appreciate. And don't you appreciate the fact that we got to play with somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? Like we see Busquets at a level, and we're like, Oh, but his moves are so fucking technical and nice looking and everything. And then they're like, yo, we had a player like that was playing for us that we play as too.
Harvey is asking who reminds us of him.
Nah, I'm
Hey,
not.
Sadio Mane.
I was saying I play like Sergio Busquets.
No, but the way he moves, like his demeanors, Lucas's demeanors.
Yeah.
It's just because he's just as tall as I am.
Probably you guys have to manage your bodies, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
no, it's just how you smooth. You don't rush it. You don't rush it. You understand what I'm saying? Like you kind of dance with it in a way. You collect the ball. You collect the ball. He salsa with it a little bit and
He's
turn to the
dancing.
left.
That's that
You know?
Brazilian samba.
Yeah, he samba with it. You what? You know.
That's that Brazilian magic that we missed,
It's
right?
nice.
That's
Hey,
that Brazilian
hey,
magic that we
it's
talk
Joga
about.
Bonita, baby. Joga Bonita
Yeah.
at its finest. That
We
is it.
magic we want to see back in Brazil.
Don't make it get to your head,
Guys-
Lucas. That was back in Newberry days, okay? I don't know about now.
Yeah, that's true. He made it look easy.
That was back in the Heights,
as much as we might have not watched, there's somebody that we probably played similar to in our time, and like I said, me growing up, my dad always told me I played a lot like Carlos Tevez. I wasn't the most technical player, but I played really, really hard, and that's kind of I created that identity for myself. I know, Jay, when you came in, you're a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan, so like a lot of your play and your moves, you were trying to identify yourself as somebody who played like him. So I feel like we all had somebody like that we played like, and maybe in our mind, again, we thought that we could make it at that level because we played like them or similar to them. So, but anyways, I know we kind of got off on a tangent here, but let's talk about what gets a team, again, or a country, to move forward in the group stages and move forward to get to a World Cup final. Because at the end of the day, the point of this is to be crowned world champ, legitimately a world champion, because you're playing countries around the world, the best of the best. So let's talk about how a team survives the first step, which is the group stages. So again, guys, the last episode, we talked about how these teams get placed into their groups through the World Cup draw. Now they got to survive these groups. And it does feel like true survival sometimes, because the group stage is where a team can go home way too soon, or a nobody can move forward into the knockout rounds, really changing the trajectory of soccer for that country. And, we talked about last episode, Harvey talked about, for him, he thinks it's Japan. Japan can really make a change for their country if they're able to do it. We think it's for the US, for us, but there's other teams, right, that can really set the tone by having a win in these knockout stages, or not the knockout stages, but the group stages. And so, especially if you're a team that doesn't really get to see the pitch at the World Cup, right? You're maybe a team that's only made it 2 times, 3 times. This is your first time. They're going into this playing every game like it's their last, because they don't know the next time that country's going to make it in. Versus some other teams, maybe like a Brazil or a Germany or something like that, where you see them consistently in the World Cup. Maybe they might not work as hard. Maybe they might not put as much effort in the beginning. So we're going to talk about that here in a second, but let's talk about what a team has to do in order to survive the group stages. So the group stages, it's all about points. And the way that points work is, if you win a game, you get 3 points. If you tie a game or draw, you get 1 point. If you lose a game, you get 0 points. The team with the most points in that group gets the first seed in the knockout rounds. Pretty simple. Seems simple, but it's not, because traditionally only the top 2 teams would actually move on from each group, and it made it very simple. You knew, hey, if you made it in the top 2, you're making it through no matter what. And so, being that every group has 4, you knew 2 were going home and 2 were moving forward. Pretty straightforward in the past. Now, if only the top 2 teams were to move forward to the next round, it would go from 48 teams to 24 teams. And if you continued the knockout stages, we would be left with 3 teams in the final, and you can't really have a final with 3 teams. So what did FIFA do? FIFA said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to, have 8 third place teams move forward into the knockout stages. So we're going to go from 48 teams to now 32 teams. which it's going to have 24 teams that are first and second place, right? Plus 8 teams that are in third place, and that's going to make up the 32. Now, the easiest way for your team to move on without you having a heart attack is to just be in the top 2, right? Just get in the top 2. You made it forward to the knockout rounds. And look, each team in the and each team in the group stages plays 3 matches, right? There's 4 teams total, so you play against each team once. So if you win every match in your group, you end up with 9 points, right? 3 games, 3 points each, 9 points. This is best case scenario, right? Best case scenario, you win all 3 games, you end up with 9 points, you're moving forward. If you win 2 games and maybe you lose one, you would end up with 6 points. If you win 2 and tie 1, you would end up with 7 points. If you tie all 3, you end up with 3 points. If you lose all 3, you end up with 0 points. So pretty straightforward how that works. But there's a lot of scenarios that can happen in this year's group stage, because third place is more than just about points. There could be 6, 7, teams that all have the same amount of points, but what decides if one moves forward over another one? Well, this is where goal differential plays a huge part. And for all you viewers at home, if you're wondering what the heck does goal differential mean, it's very simple. It's the number of goals a team scores minus the number of goals that they concede. So if my team scores 10 goals, but we get scored on 8 times, then the goal differential is +2, right? That makes sense for everybody, hopefully. But this is going to play a huge part as to who goes home in the group stages now, because not every third team or third place team is going to make it. And at the end of the day, there are going to be some teams that get left out, and they're going to get left out because of goal differential. And actually, it doesn't even go there. If the goal differential is the same, then they go based on total amount of goals scored. Then they'll even go into how many yellow cards or red cards a team got, so into fair play. So it's kind of crazy how that trickle down can go. But the goal differential is going to play a huge part into how the teams move forward. Do we think that this is fair? Do we feel like they could, there could be a different way to go about it? How do we feel about this, guys?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I dig it because it incentivizes like high intensity, like attacking games, or like people are just, there's no more parking the bus and sitting in front of the goal. Like, it matters to score like a lot of goals now, I actually kind of like it.
Yeah, it's more excitement. I mean, it's hey, let's attack. We got to win. You want to win, we got to attack. We can't play defensively,
But
So there's
Eh,
a lot of action.
It's gonna reward whoever is going forward, whoever is playing to win. So
yeah.
if you're trying to score, you can be rewarded for that later.
But yo,
So it's all about
also,
who's gonna have the best attack.
hey, I agree with y'all. It's gonna be exciting, right? But we know not every team has the attack power. So some team gonna come with good defense. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't score a bunch of goals, but guess what? They don't concede a bunch of goals either. So that at the end of the day, that's gonna help them out. But at the end of the day, the points count. So I mean, like y'all said, people gonna like Luis asked earlier, like, what is it gonna take? So for them teams that are there all the time, they're gonna come in with more strategy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna think longevity, because they're gonna come in the group stage knowing that they're going on to the next round. So they're gonna be more strategic with it, otherwise than them teams that are busting their cherry right now and they're like, yo, we gotta prove a point. They better come score goals. If not,
So do you want Jamaica to play?
bro, that's what I was just about to say. If not, you stay home so my team can be there, so we can show them. You understand what I'm saying, Papi? Shit.
Yeah, and following what Kalon said, I agree too, right? They got to be a lot more strategic. And we've seen it before, especially like in the last World Cup, France, right? Argentina, they were going back and forth, but where it really had a lot of importance was the counterattack, right? When they knew how to go about counter attacking and executing on those counterattacks. So we're going to see a lot of strategy. Okay, you guys come, but we're going to execute where wherever you're going to slip. If there's a mistake, we're going to execute on that mistake.
Hey, let me ask y'all real quick.
Punish them.
Oh, sorry, Stevie. Sorry. So real quick,
No, go ahead.
just
Go ahead.
to harp on that real quick. Let me ask you. It's exciting to see a lot of goals. We know this, but isn't it exciting when y'all see a good defensive unit shut a team down? That's
It's
a,
fun
that's,
Like
because
a
that,
0-0 game, is that what you're saying?
especially at this level where we
Like a
know,
game that ends up 0-0?
brother. I want hot one love, brother. Want hot 1-0, brother. Win, hey,
It's better when it's like 3-3 and they're both defensively like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
especially in Jamaica, that we
Yeah.
have a thing. We have a thing for 1-0 games, man. We have a thing for 1-0 games. You know, all game is 0-0, just to get that last one goal. You know, like golden goal kind of thing, but at a whole nother magnitude.
And we
Yeah.
know the 2-0, that's the most dangerous lead you can have in a game, right? 2-0, anything can happen. It could switch up really
Yeah.
quick. So
real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really can. And that's, I think that's what's crazy about this, because in the past teams would play conservative, right? Maybe they would play for a tie. A lot of teams in the past, they would play for a tie knowing that they're still going to move forward. You know, like let's say you're the top two teams, right? You're the top two teams. You know that if you both tie, you're going to move forward. But now it's just like maybe your third place team, you can't play for a tie anymore. Like you can't be like, hey, we'll tie and maybe we'll be able to do it. Dang, Harvey, you got bad connection right now?
Yeah, it cut
He's
out
in
for a
Jamaica.
second.
Harvey, you're
Yo, somebody send Lucas home, man. Hey,
connection just said it was unstable on my side, Harvey.
Is it better now?
yeah, you're good. I hear you.
I don't know. We'll see.
we're kind of blurry.
But yo,
Yeah.
hey, let me ask y'all. Let's jump back on tangent a little bit. How y'all think USA gonna approach this World Cup? Knowing they're a host nation, which you know they get the bye or whatever. How you think they're gonna approach this group stage? They gonna come lackadaisical or they gonna bring it?
No, the same way Trump is attacking now. He's going to try to, we're going guns blazing, baby. What you talking about?
Thank
Guns
you.
blazing.
I'm gonna
Thank
throw
you.
bombs.
Listen. I
We're
hope
coming
so.
for everybody's
We're gonna
home.
I hope so.
Bangers, baby.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
Nobody's all safe.
No,
Okay?
nobody's
Yeah.
safe. Nobody's early safe.
Better hope we don't
Street.
beat, better hope we don't beat Saudi Arabia in a game. No.
Right. All right. So
Jeez.
switch it up close to home a little bit. Lucas,
about to
how
get
Brazil gonna
canceled.
approach this?
I mean, Brazil is always gonna play to win. I don't think we ever had like a defensive team.
No,
Not
it's
that I
always
can
been attack.
remember.
Beautiful attack.
Yeah, this is going to have to be attack, and I think that's what's exciting. Is I think, but again, because goal conceding can hurt somebody too, I think it's going to be the most balanced World Cup we'll see, because you have to score a lot and you got to defend a lot. So
Mhm.
I hope it's not going to be boring, right? That's the last thing that anybody wants, is a boring World Cup or boring games. But I think because there is the competitiveness, right? People aren't going to sit back as much. People aren't going to just wait as much. People are going to have to attack. They're going to have to score goals. They're not going to be able to make it on with just a 1-goal game, right? It's just not going to work out. They're going to look, if a team has an opportunity to blow a team out, they're not going to sub out all their players. They're not going to do it. They're going to blow the team out. If you're up 4-0 and you have the opportunity to win 10-0, like we know some of these European teams can do, right? They're going to freaking do it now. They're not going to sit back. So I think people are going to see we might see some crazy amount of goals, but I think we're going to see a crazy amount of defense too. So it's going to be the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with all these teams now, man. We're about to see different kinds of players. You understand what I mean? We know the top 10 teams, the Joga Bonita, the European, the England men, the Netherlands. We know the tough teams, the 1 and 2 African tough teams. But we're about to see some different teams now. But look, we're about to see Curacao. Let's see how they take on a stage like this. We're about to see Jamaica, because we're gonna put it in the air.
I'm about to say, I want to see
I
how
mean?
Jamaica
How
does.
how they gonna take it on the stage? We know. I know. I'm Jamaican. I've been watching Jamaican football my whole life. But I'm one of them
So
that
how
believe in.
do you think Curacao is gonna play against Germany? They're in the same group, so Germany's
Bruh.
are they gonna be straight up
Listen.
defense? They're gonna
Listen.
are they even gonna try
I'm
to
no hater.
score?
Listen, I'm no hater. Go ahead, Harvey. You got this.
I think exactly what you described, Lucas. I think they're just gonna try to sit back and try to catch them slipping, maybe get a counterattack.
Mhm.
The thing about Curacao, man, is they were colonized by the Netherlands, kind of like England, Jamaica, or Spain with Mexico, so on and so forth. So a lot of the guys that are actually playing for Curacao are guys that played in the Netherlands, that aren't getting called up to the national team and decided, hey, I can go back to my mother country and play. So they're good players, bro. They're not, gonna come and just lay down for them. They're gonna put up a fight. And I think if Germany comes in with the mentality that they're just gonna walk all over them,
We already know how that
not,
goes.
yeah, it's not given, but they might definitely lose.
Could be a surprise. Yeah. Hey, and that
Dude, I had no
explanation.
idea. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna be
I
interesting.
agree with that 100%. But I also think too. All right, so boom, they didn't get called up for the Netherlands team for whatever reason, right? We're just gonna say they weren't good enough for the Netherlands team. So they're gonna come playing against Germany. Yeah, we're gonna think they're gonna sit back, but this is also a good way for them to prove a point. It could be a 2-1. It could be a 2-1 Germany. We're not gonna laugh at them. You lost 2-1 to Germany. You're putting up a fight. Am I lying? That's what I'm saying. It's not like Germany's a subsy team. It's a top team. For you
Watch
to
them beat them and then the Netherlands the next year for
exactly
any
watch them
international.
pull a draw.
Friendlies, they
Watch
call
them,
those guys up.
watch them pull a draw. Imagine the clout they're gonna get from that.
But that's like what we were talking about Morocco last year or last World Cup. They showed up, they showed out, and now Morocco is known as one of the greater teams just from the last World Cup. And before that, they didn't have the type of team they have now. So you never know how a small team can have a really good group stage, even if they move on into the knockout rounds, how that little thing can really change the trajectory of soccer for that country, whatever it might be. So I think it is important. And look, some of these teams, smaller teams, are going to go into every game like it's a final. And I think that's going to be big because some of these bigger teams that are used to being in the World Cup, that are used to the bigger stage, they might go in with a little cocky. They might go in thinking, hey, I've been at this stage before. I've been here. I know how to manage it. I know how to navigate it. And that may be true, right? That might be true for a lot of these teams. And we might see the maturity of those teams. But some of these teams, that have not been in a World Cup, or players that have not been in a World Cup or have not been in a big stage like that, has not been in a stadium with 80,000 people. Like think about, in Jamaica, what is the most that their biggest stadium can hold, for instance, right? Like, I think their game against, when they played, they had to play Curacao, right? When they lost that game, I think they were like it's maxed out at like 30,000 people or something like that.
35, I think.
Sounds about right.
35.
So they're, a smaller team like Curacao or whoever it might be, they're going to go into an 80,000, 90,000, seat stadium. They're going to look up and they're going to get blinded. They're going to be like, holy smokes. How do we feel about something like that?
The excitement.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of players have never experienced that, right? The 80,000, especially if you're playing a team like Argentina, Brazil, people that actually talk shit through the stadiums to the players, it's a lot of pressure, right? Under the lights. It's just like when we're in middle school and we go to high school and some of us play JV and varsity in the big stadium. The first day you play in that big stadium. I remember when I first started, like I was a freshman playing varsity, I puked my first game. I was scared shitless, right? So it's kind of like that same mentality. They've never been on a world stage. They've never been in front of 80,000 people, all lights. The whole world is watching them. Can they handle that pressure? Are they going to break, right? It's a mind fuck for a lot of people.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And some of these small teams might find a way to prepare and catch one of these bigger teams not on their A game.
Yeah.
They might go in there just thinking they have a, because let's
Imagine-
be honest, if you're
Imagine playing
ahead.
Mexico. Like Mexico is playing the group stage in Mexico. The fans in Mexico are crazy. Like I remember in 2002, South Korea, I think they were in the semifinals. The crowd can push a team forward.
Yeah.
Brother, everybody know the Azteca are one of the most dangerous stage on earth. Everybody
Fuck
know
around,
that.
find out.
Everybody know that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, back then, now it's a lot more regulated, but back then they used to get away with saying some bad shit. Even when we say our canto, right? When the goalkeeper's about to, yeah, right? And then like, dude, we would toss beers at players. Like,
We're not allowed to do that anymore.
yeah, we're not allowed to do that.
We can't say
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can't.
absolutely.
We
And
can't.
Mexico fans are definitely gonna push their team forward. Are US fans gonna push their team forward? We don't.
Dude, it's so hard to tell, man. Like if there's gotta be, we have to create that culture. They have to be extra, man. They have to be absolutely extra.
Yeah.
Cause even at the Charlotte FC games, man, like
Yeah.
there's a small group that will freaking go balls to the wall. And even me, man, I'm not in the middle of it. They call it the Blue Furia, and they're like, they playing the drums and everything, and they go wild. But the whole fan section does it. It's only that small group, you know? It's not until you get the whole fan section doing the same chant, making it vibrate, right? Making like you can hear it outside of the stadium. That's when you know you got it. And
Yeah,
that's
brother.
what we don't have yet. That's what the
That-
USA does not
Bro,
have yet.
bro, you're 100% right, brother. You know what I noticed? One of the things I noticed, even in, like the NBA or whatever, to go to like an NBA game, it's more like, hey, this is happening today. I'm just gonna say, all right, boom, Orlando is happening. Hey, the tickets are $45. Hey, let's go. You know, it's not no heart like, oh, I'm an
Yeah.
Orlando fan. They play today or Thursday. Let's go to the game. You know, it just, oh, it's so happening. I ain't got shit to do today. Let's go to the game. You know what I mean? We got to get past that. We got to get
And I
past.
think this World Cup's really going to open up a lot of American
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Wow, we love the culture that you know, football and soccer has. Like, then now, you know, the next World Cup, people are going to start understanding, and if America gets a chance again, it's going to be completely different, right?
Yeah. Little by little, the MLS is doing it, man. Little by little.
Mhm.
And I think that they started out when they brought Beckham in as a part owner or whatever. That was a good little kicker. They brought Kaka into Orlando. You understand what I'm saying? Then it trickled down to now they got Messi. And, you know, you can only imagine who they're going to be bringing in next, man. Just like what Saudi Arabia is doing. Don't you think that's what
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia is doing, bringing in all them players there, man? Who the hell
Oh,
know
yeah,
all them
definitely.
teams, dog? Ain't nobody like,
Yeah.
let me sit down and watch fucking Saudi Arabia play today. Huh?
That's true.
But dude,
That's true.
No, but
Cristiano
those
is
leagues can
there,
compete now, yeah.
Mane is there, and there's a lot of other players I know. I'll be catching a few names or whatever around the Saudi Arabian league, bro. Yeah,
It's a lot of players,
that
bro.
dollar bill, but it's the same thing in America. They're giving them that dollar bill too, and that's
Give me
Mhm.
one
why
name from
they don't.
Saudi.
It's not Saudi money,
I
bro.
can't.
Dude, that's
It
that
ain't no
oil
Saudi
money,
money.
baby. That's
It ain't
that
no
oil
Saudi
money.
money. I guarantee you. It ain't no Saudi money. But they're getting there with what we're trying to bring and what we're trying to establish. You know, especially them bringing the World Cup here. It's a good start. It's a good
Yeah.
start because imagine bringing the World Cup to America if MLS wasn't doing what they're doing today. It was there. They still have one or two development team. Nobody even care about. You know what I mean?
That's
In
how it
Charlotte,
was in '94.
man, ain't no soccer in Charlotte, man. All the Mexicans play soccer in Charlotte, man. Come on. Come on.
Mexicans are playing everywhere, brother.
South Carolina. We know that. That's where we was. Mexicans. Georgia. Jay.
It's
Jay.
it's
It's a
that
bunch of
Sunday
your brothers.
league, Sunday
Hey,
construction
I
league.
know in high school in Georgia, I play against a bunch of them. I know this. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
for sure. And look, you know, in these group stages, again, we talk about a bunch of stuff that could possibly happen. And the fans are going to be a big part in the group stages, right? The fans are definitely going to have something to say. And the bigger fan base usually means the better chance, right? That's usually how it works out. So the bigger the fan bases are, the more noise they can make, the more support. Like as a player, if you look out into the stands and you see your flag, you see your people, you're going to play harder. You are going to bleed for your country. And I think that's so exciting. And that's going to be exciting for anybody. But as we see in the group stages sometimes are notorious to seeing some teams exit way too early. And we talked about that in the group of death in the past. But sometimes just in general, we find teams that just we don't expect are going to leave. They leave early. Some examples, right? France won the 1998 World Cup, that the last time Jamaica was in it, right? And so they won the 98 World Cup. Then they won the 2000 Euros. And look, they were a favorite. They were a favorite to win it all in 2002 in the World Cup, and they ended up not even scoring a goal in the group stages. You know, it's known as one of the biggest collapses to such a dominant team. In 2014, Germany won in Brazil 7-1. But so, and then going into 2018, you know, in Russia, they were huge, you know, they were huge favorites, especially knowing that they were going to have a lot of attendance from their fans. And then they ended up finishing last in their group. And then most recently in 2022 in Qatar, Belgium was a favorite to win it all. being classified or called the golden generation for their team. They were ranked number 2 in the world going into the World Cup, and then they exited in the group stage as well. You know, this year, obviously, group stage looks a little different because there's third place winners. You know, Harvey, do you feel like we're going to see a surprising exit, or do we feel like because there's so many third place players or teams that can move forward, maybe we won't see those upsetting exits happen this year?
No, I think we definitely will. It always happens. If I had to take a guess following the trend, I'm going to say Argentina, but I mean, it could be anybody. It really could be anybody.
And and explain to the viewers this trend you speak of.
Well, it's been highlighted many times already, but there's supposedly a conspiracy theory that the winners of the previous World Cup don't make it out of the group stages in the following one. So, and it's been pretty true if you go back and look at it. So, if I'm following that, we're gonna say Argentina, but I don't know. Messi's pretty favored, so we'll see what happens.
For sure.
Their group is pretty easy too.
Go ahead, Luca.
I don't think Argentina is gonna be left out. They're in the easiest group, I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's true, but you didn't think they would lose to Saudi Arabia last World Cup either.
Do we think that there's a team, and I know we talked about it a little bit last episode, but do we think that there's a team that could shockingly win a group? Not so much just move forward, but win a group and move forward into the next one. And I know Harvey talked about Japan. And if I think about any team right now, if I look at the groups when they have Group F with the Netherlands, Tunisia, and then they would have the winner of Albania, Poland, Sweden, or Ukraine. Like maybe Japan could be that winner of that group. But
I can see Japan winning their
think
group.
of?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Jamaica. Hey guys, if Jamaica, first off, if Jamaica makes it into the World Cup, what are we doing to celebrate? And then second, if they win their group, what are we doing?
First of all, when they win the group, we are going to celebrate by going to Mexico and turning up on some of Jay's tequila, for one.
And tacos.
Understand what I'm saying?
That's right. I'll find you a Mexican lady, Kaylon.
Preach.
So anybody else think of a team that could possibly surprise and win a group or just
I can see
surprises
USA winning their group, but I don't think it would be a surprise. But I can see USA winning their group. I can see Canada, Mexico as well. I can see Canada going through, Mexico winning their group.
Yeah.
I think Colombia could surprise us as well.
Well, Colombia, right? Colombia didn't make it into the last World Cup, right? That was the whole they're finally back, they're saying. And I think one of these episodes we'll talk about in the future is kind of how the World Cup highlight players. James Rodriguez, when he had his standout, in I think it was a 2010 World Cup, that he was this standout player for Colombia, had some of the greatest goals. Next thing you know, recruited by Real Madrid, goes to Real Madrid, gets all this money. And we're going to talk about that in future episodes. Maybe we talk about that sooner than later. We can talk about past World Cups, and we can talk about how that's changed, players, right? Because players that do well, this is a tournament at the end of the day, guys. If you think about back to high school, you're playing for your club team. Where do you get recruited to play in college? Tournaments. That's where you get recruited. We can talk about that recruitment process for people and how in the past, what are teams that have had these standout players that next thing you know, they become world star players, just like James Rodriguez national team.
Hey, can I ask real quick? Check this out. Y'all see the group with Egypt with Salah? Y'all don't think Salah might break through and do something this year?
That was gonna be my next suggestion, Egypt.
Because he getting a lot of hype, man. I think I saw something the other day where what he's been doing in the EPL surpassed Ronaldo, what he did in his time. I don't know if that's a big issue, but to get that kind of hype, man. We know
We've already seen it. We've already
Salah
seen
good.
one player that doesn't win those games, right? Look at Messi in Argentina, how long it took, and until they established a dominant team, then he was able to win it, right? But one player can't just win it all for him.
Yeah, Messi even
look at
retired from
Morocco.
the national
Look at
team.
Morocco. How many players does Morocco have? Sorry, I'm ignorant to that. How many good players Morocco have? I know the one dude that they have. I don't even know his name.
Morocco?
Yeah, Morocco. How many great
Morocco
players
has a
they got?
lot of good players.
They got a
Are you
lot of
talking
good
about
players.
Morocco or Egypt?
No, I'm talking about Morocco. I only know one
Morocco
player.
has a lot.
Morocco. So you got to think about Morocco has a lot of people who have migrated to Spain
Yeah. Okay.
and
Okay.
to France.
Okay.
And so a lot of those players they could play for
At that
Spain or
level.
France.
At that level.
They're
Okay.
choosing to play for Morocco instead. But I think that we're gonna talk about it later on as to what players who think that this is gonna be a standout tournament for them. And I think we're gonna see some US players that are gonna get some big contracts after this. I think we're gonna see some US players that they come out of there and they start playing in Europe and they're not playing in the MLS, or the MLS decides to start paying more, and they say, hey, we don't want to lose these players that are playing in the MLS. Let's pay more so they're not leaving here, because we have MLS players that are leaving $1 million contract here to go get 10 million in England.
That would be a mistake, though. That would be a mistake for U.S. national players not to go play overseas.
Just for the
Right, because it's a
exposure. Just for
different
the exposure.
exposure, talent, like skill. Like, why wouldn't you send to the best league so they can come back and
Yeah.
play for your national
Hey,
team?
and to y'all's point,
true.
they gotta win that group. They gotta win that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of what 11, 12 players are already playing internationally.
Talent alone is gonna win that group with the
Yeah.
players they got. You know what I'm saying? I'm
So-
not taking
so-
nothing else from the other teams, but I'm just saying.
For sure. So that's the group stage, right? And we talk about surprising, but so now that we go from 48 teams, we go to 32 teams. Now from here, this is where the knockout stage begins. This is where true chaos happens in the games. Up to this point, we haven't played any extra time. We haven't had any kind of penalty kicks. True tears haven't been shed yet. Emotions really run high in the knockout rounds. You win, you move on. You lose, you go home. There are no ties. So for all you viewers, right, once you get to that round of 32, you go from 48 to 32. At the 32, you lose a game, you're gone. So of course, there's no ties like we said before. So how does that work? So if after 90 minutes plus stoppage time is played and there's a tie, we go into extra time. Extra time, 2 15-minute halves for a total of 30 minutes. If there are no goals by the end of those 30 minutes, we go into penalty kicks. And for all you viewers who may not know how penalty kicks work, the ball is placed at the penalty mark, which is 12 yards from the goal. There's only two players involved. It's the player shooting the ball, shooting the penalty kick, and the goalie attempting to stop the penalty kick. The goalie has to stay on the goal line between the posts. They can't move until the ball is kicked. And this is where things really intensify, right? You think about, as a player walks up to the penalty, they grab the ball, they put it down, the crowd's yelling. It's just them and one other player. I'm shooting it to score. You're trying to stop it. It's you versus me, nobody else. And look, each team gets 5 shots. Whoever has the most amount after 5 shots wins. If they're still tied after 5 shots, they go into sudden death. Whoever misses first. So, fellas, why are penalty kicks exciting? Where does we get into the knockout rounds? What memories do we have of penalties or this chaoticness that can happen if there's a tie when knockout rounds are going on?
Who wants to start? Because I know everybody's got a story for this. I'm sure everybody took one of those PKs. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Well, if Kalen's telling the truth, then he hasn't.
I know.
Zero missed
Dude, I mean,
PKs, man. I can say this on whatever this is, this platform. 0. All right.
That you've made 0 PKs? Is that what you said?
Taken 0, made 0, missed 0.
I mean, I know you were a forward and midfielder, so I know you and I have taken a few.
Hey,
Lucas,
brother,
I know
brother.
you've taken.
Hey, I
Luis,
played
you
striker in Georgia
mean,
too.
it's-
Don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Don't forget about
I've
it.
only missed 1 PK in my entire career. Only 1 PK. And it still haunts me. And it was the last one too, right? And it was in the final. And it was, I always do this one move. It's very easy. Like I shift my weight over to the right and I'm left-footed. So I look to the right, everything's shifting. And then last second, like I hit it to the left side and it always gets the keeper. Right. I sell that and I've been able to make that unless I know that keeper, like I've seen that keeper and he knows me, then I know just I'm going top right corner, just low and hard, right? Boom, straight up. But dude, it can be frightening, right? You just got to have a mental barrier, just knock everything out because yeah, the goal seems very big, right? But we all know a little to the left, little to the right, you'll just go wide. You've seen players already go over, right? It's like a field goal. Like it's detrimental. It's something. But ending a championship in PKs, I hate that, dude. I hate ending in PKs.
There's so much pressure, right? There's so much pressure on these players, and we forget, right? A lot of these players are really young, and they don't know how to handle this pressure, and some do know how to handle the pressure, and that's where the veterans up and
there's a statistic, a
go ahead,
study
Lucas.
that shows that younger players miss more PKs than older players. That veterans, they score more often. They miss less
For sure.
PKs. And the study was done in a World Cup, like
Yeah,
looking at the World Cup PKs.
Listen,
It's
Remember
crazy
that
to
one
think.
kid
listen.
who blew it for England in that PK,
Mhm.
and everybody was bashing him. And I remember when Cristiano was saying, "Hey, even if I miss a PK, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make it back." Right? A lot of players don't have that mentality, especially in pro leagues. They miss it, and it fucks with them for months, right? And they're there, especially forwards.
Especially if that's their shot. Especially,
Exactly.
they get the opportunity like, this is what's gonna make or break my future as a football player, man.
That will fuck with you psychologically, and some
Psychologically,
don't bounce
man.
back.
I'm telling you.
yeah.
And then imagine hitting the post with even one of those. You remember you saying a
Brazil
little bit
won
to the
the
left or a little bit to the right? We all know how to
Imagine,
take
imagine
PKs.
doing,
Yeah.
hitting it very soft into the middle, and you're not Messi, and he does that. Neymar does it, and imagine you're a new kid
No kid.
on the block, and this is the final. You do that, and the goalkeeper just catches it. You look like a
You look like
complete
a bitch.
idiot. People will hate you for that. If you make it, you're a
Bruh.
hero. If you miss it, you're
Dead.
done. Your career is done.
Done. They're just gonna be like, why do we not see this guy on the team no more? He's injured. He's got a lower hamstring injury.
No, but that happens. That happens. People, like it's psychologically. There are people who get death threats. There are people who get, they go through depression because of these PK situations and scenarios. And look, for some of these teams that make it to the knockout rounds, I feel like they might try to play for the PKs. Like if they have a chance to go into the PKs, because really in PKs, you truly never know, right? Like PKs, and look, it's a lot different now. PKs have changed a lot over the years because these goalies are studying the players, and on their water bottles, they see how often they shoot one way or another. So it has evolved a lot more. Like I feel like PKs are probably missed a lot more now than they used to be. But Harvey, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's as of like after like 2020 though, PKs have been like polarized, bro. Like the number of PKs we're getting in games now have almost tripled because of VAR,
Yeah.
right? Is that camera recording everything? So I feel like back in the day, you might see a penalty every 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
And then
what was that VAR with Mexico and the Netherlands? No era penal. He should have gone through.
yeah, right.
Wait,
And then like now it's like at least one a game, maybe two. So that's definitely changed things. But I will say I do believe that penalties helped Argentina all the way to the finals in the last World Cup because their the goalkeeper as well.
yeah, Martinez. And for you, for everybody at home, if you hear him say VAR, and the VAR is a virtual assistant referee. So we it used to be you dove, you got hit, whatever. The ref whistle, it's a penalty kick, whatever it might be.
You
Now,
were good at that, bro.
huh?
You were good at that. You know the old flop.
Bro, that was Lucas,
Yo,
man. That was
yo,
Lucas.
hey.
Hey, I would get it called though. I would get it called. That's important. Hey,
Get the PK. That's all that matters.
matters. But yeah, I think the VAR being a play is huge because so many people have. It's something that people practice a lot more now. It didn't get practiced as much. I mean, think about it for us. How much did we really practice PKs? Like we barely practice them. Let's be honest, right? Now I think it's something that's a lot more common. PKs could be huge in this World Cup with VAR, with all the recordings they have going on. And for all you viewers, right, as these teams move forward, right, we go from 32 teams, one team from each or one country from each matchup moves on. So we go from 32 to 16. So we're in the round of 16. That moves on to the round of 8, which is the quarterfinals. This is where the things really, this is the most competitive that it's going to get, right, is as it gets from the 8 to the 4 to the semifinals to the last 2 teams. And this is where things, you see the whole World Cup really play out. You see these teams that have made it, the ones that have gotten to the final 4, the semifinals, or the ones who now make it to the finals. And we've had a lot of really, really good, finals happen. We talk about all these games that are going to be watched are already going to be like watching a Super Bowl plus them. But that final game will have 1.5 to 2 billion people watching that one final game. And last year was Argentina, or not last year, but last World Cup, it was Argentina versus France. Do you guys remember where you guys were for that game, by the way? That final game? Harvey, where were you at?
Come back to me. Let me think about it.
It sounds like you might have been drinking too much.
I'll tell you where I wasn't.
Probably.
I'll tell you where I wasn't.
Where were you?
I wasn't watching the game.
You weren't watching the game?
Nah, man. I was so upset, man. Because like y'all said, man, y'all watch Argentina get penalty and pay off the referees all the way through to the final. And y'all know me, dog. Y'all know me. I don't.
But what is there to be upset about? Jamaica was never in it to begin with, so you're okay.
That was upsetting by itself.
Lucas, where were you?
I was in a barbecue with some friends watching the game,
Yeah.
hoping
Okay.
that Argentina wasn't gonna
I
win.
actually remember now.
You were hoping Argentina wouldn't win?
Yeah, we don't like Argentina.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Argentinians,
We have that rivalry over here.
don't get me wrong. I've got close Argentinian friends, even family, but let's be honest, some Argentinians, they act like they are the center of the universe and there's nobody better than them, and Messi and Maradona are God. That's who they are. They are God.
Boludo, che boludo, que ve bobo, que ve bobo. Ven pa' allá, ven pa' allá. Yeah, I was with a couple friends and family. It was all a blur, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
I
good.
was in an Argentinian restaurant, and I remember I put like $1,000 on Argentina to win, and I put it on halftime because I was like, oh, they're up 2-0. There's no way they're losing. Like, I'm putting $1,000. That is a guaranteed money.
We know 2-0 is the most dangerous lead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But so for all you viewers at home, right, just so you guys know how that game played out, I think it was one of the craziest finals of all time. Argentina's up 2-0 going into halftime. The 2 goals scored by obviously Messi and Angel Di Maria, who it was almost like a fairy tale ending, right? 2 longtime teammates who had been playing for over 15 years together. They get the goal scored, and they're gonna just go off into Never Land together and everything. But then second half starts, and Mbappe, and we talked about Mbappe earlier on, young guy who's already won a World Cup up until that point in time, scores 2 goals for France to tie it up. They then go into extra time where both teams score in extra time. So then we're 3-3. We're going into penalty kicks, and then Argentina and Messi win in penalty kicks. But in extra time, right, Martinez, for the goalie for Argentina, he talks about how he could stayed up for days thinking about that stop that he had, because he almost conceded a goal at the end of extra time that would not have allowed them to go to penalty kicks, and it was probably one of the best saves of all time
Yeah.
in a World Cup final. And he said, he even talks about, yeah, I stayed up all night for days, and they're like, why? You saved it. He was like, but I was thinking, but what if I hadn't saved it, you know? Those moments in a final like that, I mean, that game was so crazy, man. For that comeback, Mbappe scoring a hat trick. What other big final games can you guys remember? I know we talked about this a little bit before.
But to tell you, to kind of piggyback the story, Louis, I was looking up some facts. 3 out of those 6 goals that weren't in the penalty shootout were actually penalties. So Mbappe had two out of his 3 goals were penalties.
That's right.
Which, you know, who knows if they were playing this game 10 years ago, if it would have turned out that way. But my most memorable game, it actually does include penalties as well. It was back 2010. It was Ghana versus Uruguay. Yeah.
The handball, right?
Yeah.
Man.
When Suarez took one for the team, they go to penalties and they end up missing. And then they end up tying the game, going to penalties one more time. And the same dude who missed the penalty in the game ended up missing the last penalty to win the game.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
crazy. That's crazy.
I can never forget that day.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know. He played in England for a little bit after that and then kind of just fizzled off into some lower leagues.
Wasn't he like the captain or something like that too?
Yeah, he was a captain.
Yeah, that's right. Remember that. Yeah, it was wild.
Anything can happen in these games. It's crazy.
It can. But, you know, when I think of finals, not just last year, but I know, Kaylon, we were talking about what was it, 2006 Zidane, Zinedine Zidane, the infamous headbutt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How would that would have
That's-
finished? Yep.
Yeah, don't say shit about his mama, and he won't headbutt you.
But that ended up coming to hurt him at the end, because look, Zidane is known to be one of the best penalty kickers of all time, right? Penalty takers, and he left on a red card, right? He headbutted the Italian player. He got a red card, had to leave the game. They were tied, and they ended up going into penalty kicks, and they lost, I think, like 5-3 in penalties, and Zidane couldn't take a penalty. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Hey, we iconic Zidane is too, how to end a career like that.
I know.
Y'all
he
know
still
how
won
long
that
you
award
know how
too,
long he
right?
had to think about that, and to
Oh,
know
yeah.
he's a legend. He is gonna be a martyr to this game, and to know it's always gonna be that ending for him.
Yep. The ending was a head.
Absolutely.
Looks like we lost Lucas. He probably his tablet died or something. And again, a lot of these episodes are very much more informative and educating you guys on how the games work and how the points work and how the groups work. How do people make it in? How do they move forward? And look, we are huge advocates of the game, but more importantly of making it bigger here in the US. And if there's anything that you guys can do at home, is to help spread, this podcast as much as possible, get it out to people, get informed, and we want to inform you guys as much as possible. So let us know in the comments, what are things that you guys want to hear from us? What kind of topics you want to hear us cover? Again, we're going to start diving into the cities that these games are going to be played in, so you guys can understand what to do in those cities while you're watching those games. If you're somebody traveling, from another country here to the US, and you want to know more about, where your team's going to be playing, we want to inform you guys on that as well. So it doesn't matter if you're a viewer here in the United States or you're coming in from another country. We want to help you navigate the World Cup as easily as possible. And I know these first few episodes have been more so informative, but we're going to start dialing it into more details of these games and more details of the day-to-day when it comes to coming down here. We're hoping to get some partnerships with maybe some bars or places that are going to be doing events, so where events are going to happen, and just to keep you guys informed on everything that's going on. So and we want to give shout outs to people as well. Huge shout out to our first winner. Let's clap it up. We had our
Yeah.
our first winner of our $100 giveaway. Plus everybody who got to be a part of it, they got an entry into the tickets that we're going to be giving out, that Jay's company's giving out for in Atlanta for Portugal versus USA, and we're hoping to have more giveaways, guys. We're going to have more giveaways, whether that be for more tickets, whether that be for maybe gear. Maybe we get some gear for you guys. Maybe it's more monetary giveaways. Maybe Kaylon will go on a date with you. We'll figure something.
Listen, that's gonna be the best time of your life. Okay.
Boy.
We're gonna find more things to talk about and more things to do with you guys, and next week we're gonna continue moving this on, and we hope that this is doing something for you guys. If anything, just giving you at least more knowledge of what's to come this summer in 2026. Again, guys, yes, Jay.
Yeah, and then guys, if you want anything for us to talk about specifically, just send us a message or comment, kind of topics that you want to understand or get to know more, or for us to break down. We're more than happy to to talk about those things. So let us know what you guys want to hear as well, right?
Absolutely. Lucas, where did you come from?
I was in Jamaica right now. So I got-
Damn, I'm never gonna live that down, am I? I'm never gonna live that down. Okay, cool.
I don't know what happened. My fault.
Your video's not flipping though. I don't know. How's Jamaica?
I had no internet in Jamaica. Sorry.
Good. I like it.
Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Viva
Yes, guys.
America.
We want to make sure you get all the ins and outs of the World Cup 2026. We want to make sure we give you what you want to learn and what you want to get out of this, because at the end of the day, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Guys, I don't know in our lifetime we're going to see the World Cup come back to the United States. So if there's any time to make the most of it, it is definitely now. Now is time to make the most of the World Cup coming to the United States. Now is the time to learn about it. Now is the time to know about soccer. If you don't know anything about soccer, go watch some videos. Go see what the vibes and the excitement's like in some of the of these other countries, and bring that kind of vibe to any game that you get to watch. Or if you don't get to go to a game, even if you go to a bar, even if you go to a watch event, there are going to be events specifically to watch the games. They're going to be huge. They're going to be amazing. And you're going to want to know what's going on in the game. Believe me, beautiful women know what's going on. So men, you want to know what's going on. So, so with that being said, guys, until we meet again for more chaos, culture, and soccer, we are the 90th Minute Hooligans. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Touchline talks. No tactics. No filters. Just soccer and some hooligans.